Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. I hope you're all doing great. Today, we're diving into an interesting topic where Americans are moving when they decide the United States just isn't cutting it for them anymore. Did you know that around 10 million Americans live in other countries? This number doesn't include military members, government workers, or their families. According to the United Nations, though, only about 5 million U.S. residents are living abroad. So, why the difference? Well, it depends on how you count. Some people are included because they were born in the U.S. and are now citizens of another country. Others count because they own property or live abroad for most of the year. The numbers are all over the place, so there's no exact figure, just a range based on different studies. Since 2016, more Americans have been moving abroad. However, this trend slowed down during the pandemic when everything was disrupted and people stayed put. For this list, we're looking at data from the U.S. Census and a few other organizations up to 2019. So, why do people leave the United States to live somewhere else? For most, the answer is simple: money. About 60% of Americans who move abroad say they do it for a lower cost of living and more affordable housing. Other reasons include politics, family ties, romantic relationships, and personal adventures. Whatever the reasons, many Americans are seeking new opportunities and experiences outside the U.S. In this video, we'll explore where these expats are going. So grab a seat, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stick around until the end to find out. Let's get started. Number 10, Italy is a dream destination for many, thanks to its delicious food, stunning ancient cities, and mostly pleasant weather. But what really attracts people is its affordability. According to world data, the United States is set as the baseline for cost of living at 100, while Italy scores 58. This means living in Italy is about 42% cheaper than in the US. The lower cost of living, combined with the charm of living in a country like Italy, is why so many people are making the move. It's especially popular among Americans and Canadians who are drawn to its lifestyle and beauty. Currently, between 61,000 and 83,000 Americans are living in Italy long-term. It's easy to see why. With a mix of affordability, history, and culture, Italy is one of the most desirable places for expats to call home. Who wouldn't want to live in a country known for its pasta, architecture, and breathtaking landscapes? Number 9, Peru. Peru might be a surprising choice, but it has a lot to offer. This South American country is famous for its breathtaking forests, stunning mountain ranges, and friendly locals who make visitors feel welcome. However, the main reason people are moving to Peru is its incredibly low cost of living. Compared to the US, where the cost of living is set at 100, Peru scores just 19.2. In simple terms, $100 worth of goods in the US would cost only about $19.20 in Peru. That's a huge difference, making it an affordable option for many Americans. There is one thing to watch out for, though. Cities in Peru often face corruption issues, and counterfeit currency is a common problem, especially for tourists. Over time, residents learn to spot the fakes, and the scams usually target newcomers. Despite this, between 57,000 and 85,000 Americans have chosen to live in Peru long-term, drawn by its affordability, natural beauty, and vibrant culture. Number 8, France. France is a popular destination for Americans, and it's easy to see why. It's a stunning place to live with rich culture, delicious food, and world-class wine. While housing in Paris or the French Riviera can be pricey, most other areas are much more affordable. France's cost of living index is 65.9, meaning it's about 34% cheaper than living in the US. The country also offers countless attractions and activities, from exploring historic sites to enjoying picturesque landscapes. One thing to note is that some Americans find the French a bit rude. However, this often depends on how you approach them. In general, they don't have much patience for rudeness or silly behavior, so being respectful goes a long way. Despite cultural differences, many Americans love living in France. Between 60,000 and 98,000 Americans have made it their home long-term, enjoying its beauty, affordability, and vibrant way of life. Number 7, South Korea. South Korea has been a popular destination for Americans since the 1980s. Despite being neighbors with North Korea, this doesn't seem to discourage many people from moving there. In fact, South Korea is considered one of the best places for Americans to live abroad. A big reason Americans move to South Korea is its booming tech industry. Many find work there and choose to stay even after their jobs end. The welcoming nature of South Koreans also makes it easy to settle in. Similar to Southern hospitality in the US, Koreans are known for their kindness and openness to newcomers, helping expats feel at home. Life in South Korea offers plenty to explore. Beyond its modern cities, the country hosts countless festivals and events throughout the year, offering a vibrant cultural experience. Whether it's traditional celebrations or seasonal events, there's always something exciting happening. The cost of living is another major draw. South Korea's cost of living index is 54, making it almost half the expense of living in the United States. This affordability allows many Americans to enjoy a comfortable lifestyle. While winters can be cold in some areas, South Korea experiences all 4 seasons, which many find appealing. However, there are some downsides to consider. The country is still technically at war with North Korea, a conflict that has lasted for nearly 70 years. While there hasn't been significant conflict during this time, it's a factor to keep in mind when deciding to move there. Despite this, South Korea continues to attract a growing number of Americans. Currently, between 68,000 and 121,000 Americans live there long-term, drawn by the country's culture, affordability, and opportunities. Number 6, Israel. One of the main reasons Americans move to Israel is religion, but it's not the only reason. Israel also has a growing tech industry and an affordable cost of living. With a cost of living index of 55.4, it's much cheaper compared to the United States. Israel is actually a beautiful country with pleasant weather most of the time, which attracts many people to live there. The combination of affordable living, great weather, and the opportunity for religious fulfillment makes Israel an appealing place for Americans. Currently, between 77,000 and 123,000 Americans live in Israel, enjoying both the lifestyle and the culture of the country. Number 5, Australia. Australia, also known as the land down under, is home to a large number of Americans, even if the locals may not always seem too eager to have them. But in reality, Australians are generally very friendly and welcoming. And most Americans who live there will tell you that Australians are some of the nicest people they've met. The pleasant weather and beautiful beaches play a big part in why Americans choose to move to Australia. While it's not as cheap to live there as in some other countries, with a cost of living index of 78.1, the beach lifestyle and overall climate are major draws. In Australia, about 90% of the population lives within 20 miles of the coast. If you prefer to live away from the beach in more inland areas, you can find cheaper land, but other costs may be higher due to shipping and logistics. It's similar to how land in Alaska can be cheap, but everything else can cost more because of the transportation required. In total, between 115,000 and 146,000 Americans live in Australia long-term, enjoying the relaxed lifestyle and stunning natural surroundings. With its laid-back vibe, amazing weather, and endless beaches, Australia remains a top destination for those looking to start a new life abroad. Number 4, Germany. Germany is becoming a popular destination for many Americans, though it's not often talked about. A lot of Americans have been moving there over the years, and there are several reasons for this trend. One reason is that the cost of living in Germany is lower than in the United States. Although it's not as affordable as some other countries on this list, with a cost of living index of 81.3, it is still a more budget-friendly option compared to the US. What attracts people to Germany is its high quality of life and strong work-life balance. Working hours are shorter in Germany than in other developed countries, yet Germany has one of the strongest economies in Europe. Another appealing factor is their excellent universal healthcare system, which is why people in Germany live, on average, 2 years longer than people in the US. Healthcare in Germany is easier to access if you're sick. You just go to the doctor without worrying about expensive premiums or other extra costs. While taxes may be higher, the healthcare system is much more affordable and effective, which many people appreciate. Between 128,000 and 143,000 Americans live in Germany, enjoying the country's great quality of life and health benefits. Number 3, United Kingdom. Many Americans choose to move to the United Kingdom for several reasons. One big reason is the lack of a language barrier. People often prefer to settle in England, Scotland, or Northern Ireland so they don't have to learn a new language. While many Europeans speak English, living in a country where it's the primary language makes it easier. Side note, if you visit Manchester, they are speaking English. Though it might not sound like it at first, other key reasons include healthcare, history, and culture. The UK's rich traditions and easier access to healthcare make it an attractive destination. After the language convenience, these factors are what draw many Americans to move and stay. Surprisingly, the cost of living index in the UK is 63.1, making it more affordable than you might expect compared to the US. Currently, between 216,000 and 253,000 Americans live in the United Kingdom, enjoying the benefits of a familiar language, a blend of modern and historical culture, and the opportunities that come with living in this vibrant and diverse country. Number 2, Canada. Moving to Canada is a popular choice for many Americans, especially around election time when talk of relocating increases. Google searches about moving to Canada often spike during elections, especially if people are unhappy with the results. The main reasons Americans move to Canada are healthcare, and its close proximity to the US-Canada's healthcare system is a big attraction. Many Americans even cross the border daily just to get affordable prescriptions. While Canadians pay higher taxes to support their healthcare system, they don't face the financial burden of huge medical bills, like for surgeries or treatments, which appeals to many. Interestingly, the cost of living in Canada isn't as high as some might think, even with the taxes. Canada has a cost of living index of 70.5 compared to the US, meaning $100 worth of goods in the US would cost only $70.50 in Canada. This makes life in Canada more affordable in some ways, despite its reputation for high taxes. Currently, between 271,000 and 313,000 Americans have made Canada their permanent home, drawn by its healthcare, affordability, and cultural similarities. For many, Canada offers a better quality of life just across the border. Number 1, Mexico. It might surprise some people, but many Americans are choosing to move to Mexico. The main reasons include the cost of living, weather, proximity to the US, food, and culture. Another major factor is family. Many Americans with Mexican roots or family connections are opting to live in Mexico. Sometimes it's because their parents were deported, or perhaps their parents returned to Mexico for retirement. Whatever the reason, more people born in the US are now choosing to live in Mexico with their families. This wasn't always the case, as many once worked hard to come to the US and stayed permanently. Mexico does face serious crime problems, particularly in areas controlled by cartels. However, the US also has crime, but people often overlook it while criticizing Mexico. Not all of Mexico is unsafe. Some places are actually safer than parts of the US. A friend of mine has lived in a small Mexican town with his girlfriend for 20 years and says it feels safer than where he lived in the US. Statistically, Mexico has slightly higher crime rates per capita, but it's not as bad as many believe. The cost of living in Mexico is a huge draw. With a cost of living index of 26, $100 worth of goods in the US would cost only $26 in Mexico. This affordability makes it an attractive option for many Americans. Currently, between 763,000 and 901,000 Americans live in Mexico permanently, enjoying its culture, affordability, and family connections. And that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed exploring where Americans are moving and why, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, share your thoughts in the comments, and hit that subscribe button. Make sure to tap the notification bell so you never miss our latest content. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.